Shuttle to Dirian. What is your cargo and destination?
Parts and technical crew for the Forest Moon.
What's up, MetaNerds? In this breakdown of one of the most iconic ships in all of Star Wars, we'll be pulling from every source available to completely understand the Lambda-class Shuttle. The Lambda T4A shuttle, built by Sinar Fleet Systems for the Imperial Navy, is classified as a hyperdrive-equipped multi-purpose transport. At 20 meters long, it was about 3 times the size of a TIE fighter and half the size of the Sentinel-class landing craft. And its cost reflected that size too. At 120,000 credits, it was half the price of the Sentinel and 4 times that of the TIE fighter. Wasn't exactly fast, with a top speed of 850 kilometers per hour or 528 miles per hour, making it as sluggish as the TIE bomber and slower than almost any other ship in the fleet. But since it was designed for long-distance travel, it was outfitted with a Class 1 hyperdrive, which is usually the fastest you can get without custom mods. It is one of the more common Imperial ships seen across the galaxy, often alongside its close counterpart, the Sentinel class. Its distinctive look came from its 3 wings, a tall, stationary dorsal stabilizer, and 2 lower articulated wings that fold outward in flight for stability and inward during landing to reduce its profile. It would take up a ridiculous amount of hangar space otherwise. This sleek triangular shape was considered elegant compared to the Empire's usual blocky, utilitarian designs. A single pilot could fly the shuttle, but having a co-pilot or navigator made hyperspace travel much easier. And to confirm Imperial authorization, these shuttles had special transponders that sent secret codes to Star Destroyers.
Do they have a code clearance?
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
Though despite its polished exterior, the interior of many Lambda shuttles was said to smell of stale sweat from all those stormtroopers that were packed inside. With little else to do, bored troopers often scratched their operating numbers into every available surface. It was a well-equipped transport carrying 2 Tamanbak KX-5 laser cannons, 2 GA-60S twin rotating blaster cannons, and a retractable Armec RZ-0 double blaster cannon. And designed for both cargo and troop transport, it could carry up to 80 metric tons of cargo or more than 20 soldiers at a time. And since it was transporting so many assets, and often VIPs, it was built to take a beating. It had a powerful deflector shield powered by 2 generators and a heavily reinforced hull that could deflect laser fire. It was so well armed and protected that it could travel across the galaxy without an escort, making it a great choice for covert missions. And it also had a top-tier communication system. In case of emergency, the cockpit could detach from the main body and function as a lifeboat, capable of traveling a short distance at sublight speed. Though there wasn't enough space for everybody when the shuttle was full, so if you are a senior officer, make sure you take out all your subordinates so there's not a mutiny, as deciding who gets to fit into the shuttle must have got very bloody. If we jump into this cross-section, we get even more detail. We can see the main power reactor, which has its specialized shielding, and these waste conduits that remove heat and radiation away from the reactor, via this reactor heat sink that makes up most of the large wing. So it isn't just to look cool, that just helps. And in the side wings, we can see the power feeds for the deflector shield projectors, with the pair being in each wing, starting in the base here, coming out and through these projectors along the edge here. Right under the troop section is the Sunlight Ion engine, with the tanks on the sides, while the hyperdrive unit is just behind here. Now, the Lambda class was actually designed by former Cygnus Spaceworks engineers who were headhunted by Sinar Fleet Systems with promises of higher salaries, along with a share of future profits, and even personal star yachts. While Sinar handled most of the production, Cygnus was contracted to build a more heavily armored military variant. The T4A was the direct successor to the Theta-class T2C, and first entered service in 19 BBY, sometime after the Empire's takeover of Kashyyyk. These shuttles were widely used to transport Imperial officers between ships, often alongside the smaller TIE SH VIP shuttle, and lower-ranking officers usually took the TIE shuttle, while the Lambda class were reserved for the flag officers. The Lambda's heavy shielding and weapons made it a favorite among Imperial personnel, including Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. Both used these shuttles for personal appearances to rally the troops, often converting cargo space into private quarters with secure HoloNet transceivers linked directly to Imperial Center. Palpatine's shuttle had extra shielding for obvious reasons, and rumors suggested that it even had a cloaking device for added security. As much as this would make sense, it's surprisingly rare tech that we only see in a few instances, and while the shuttle was primarily built for military and government use, it occasionally saw civilian service, with one well-known example being the Star Tour 7, which was used for guided tours. During the Galactic Civil War, the Rebel Alliance managed to capture a number of Lambdas and repurpose them for support roles like scouting and landing missions. To differentiate them from Imperial shuttles, the Rebels painted the Alliance logo on the central wing. One of the most famous of these was the Tidirium, which was used to sneak a strike team onto the forest moon of Endor. After the Empire fell, Cygnus began manufacturing a variant of the Lambda to compete with Synar's designs. These shuttles were widely adopted by sector and planetary security forces, including the New Republic. During the New Republic era, it would be used both by the NR and Gideon's Imperial Remnant, with Shuttle 2743 carrying Dr. Pen Pershing when it was ambushed by Din Djarin and his allies, who then used it to crash aboard Moff Gideon's light cruiser. Later, when Gideon was captured and put on trial by the New Republic Tribunal, he was transported on a Lambda-class shuttle, only to escape again. And decades later, the First Order took inspiration from the Lambda design when developing their own Z-class light shuttle and Upsilon-class command shuttle. The Lambda continued to serve in later galactic governments as well, including the Galactic Federation of Free Alliances. In 40 ABY, Jason Solo and Ben Skywalker used an armed Lambda on a mission to Adumar. And nearly a century later, one was still in service under the revived Galactic Empire, and was seen on Coruscant when Princess Marasiah Fel was handed over to Darth Havoc and the One Sith. And that's the last we ever see of the Lambda class. So that's it for the breakdown, and as for behind-the-scenes facts, it first appeared in 1983 in Return of the Jedi, but the 1997 special editions put one into The Empire Strikes Back. It gets its name from the Greek letter lambda, which in lowercase form looks a lot like the profile of this ship. This would set the standard in Star Wars from then on out, using Greek letters for all kinds of shuttles, most notably the Theta class, but there's also the Beta, Gamma, Delta, Zeta, Eta, Mu, Nu, Xi, Omicron, Rho, and Upsilon. They actually built out the interior troop section for Return of the Jedi, but it ultimately doesn't show up in the film, and they use the scenes in the Home 1 hangar to have our hero characters talk to each other. Though we do get these great shots of the crew members sitting in these seats. In the pilot episode of the Firefly TV series, you can see one lifting off from the Evestown docks, far in the background behind Serenity. So that's it for the Lambda. Please hit that like button if you made it this far, I really do need that help. Subscribe to see more, and check out these other videos, I'm sure you'll like them. But most important of all, remember, if the alarms start going off, it's time to rush the cockpit, and the Force will be with you, always.